Hey, who's ready for another 5-map set? I know I am, and this time...
I'm prepared.
I'm prepared, that's right. Don Montecristo back with you again for another series, and this time it's going to be between the Florida Mayhem and the Toronto Defiant. Now, both of these teams are already eliminated from playoff contention, so you might wonder, well, what do they have really to play for? First of all, the fans, come on. Just because your team gets eliminated from the playoffs doesn't mean that your fans don't still want to watch the games. They do, obviously. Having other teams in other sports that I watch that sometimes are eliminated before they reach the playoffs.
He's really used to it.
No, well, lately, yes. But anyway, the point is these guys are playing to kind of, remain in the position they're in right now. That's part of it. But also, it really is about looking ahead to next year, kind of thinking, how do we want to sort of form this team? What stuff do we kind of want to run, really? And to be fair, Florida is coming off a pretty big win over the London Spitfire.
They are.
So they do have that going for them.
And you can see that experimentation with Florida, too, when they played against London. After they had already secured the series by getting the draw, they were able to switch in many of their, I guess, bench players, but we don't really know because this is a team that's still experimenting with their starting roster.
Right.
And that's what we're going to see today. Basically, we might see a lot of different players swapped in and out, but it's important information for the teams about who's going to be performing well on stage, what their synergies are, and they need to make sure that they give all of their players stage time so they can make the best possible decisions.
Yep, that's right. And the other interesting thing about this series is actually the Florida Mayhem are playing against a lot of their former players on Mayhem Academy and maybe on the team itself. As you can see, Logic's Mangachu, Shaq's Fact Fiction later in the week when they played Valiant. I was talking to some of the Mayhem staff backstage before the match, and they were like, yeah, this is kind of like in-house scrims for us. We're kind of, this week, we're kind of playing against a lot of the people we used to practice with, in the team house.
Yeah, and I think that they probably do have some very good information from their coaching staff, especially if their academy team, about what is going to be coming up for their players, what their weaknesses are, what their strengths are. So this is valuable information, and the Mayhem is looking pretty good these days. The Toronto Defiant also were able to snag a win last week. So these teams are not, I don't think, at the bottom of the Overwatch League right now.
That's right. Well, one of them is going to get a little bit higher up in the standings after that. Well, maybe after this series, we'll see what happens, guys. Let's hear it for our first team in this match, the Toronto Defiant. A team making a lot of moves in the roster department lately, trying to figure out the synergies, get everything moving, operating.
Yeah,
manufacturing.
It's been an interesting run, right?
Sure.
For the Toronto Defiant, because they went from an all-Korean roster, added a bunch of Western players, and you know what? They played with these 4 starters last week. When we see Sherrick coming back in for the tank position, and it seems like communication has been cleaned up a little bit when they have Mangachu, Logic, Sherrick, and Gods in together with Neko and Aid. They just seem to be functioning better as a unit and can make adaptations faster in-game.
Right, does seem to be going a bit better. They're going to need all the adaptation, all the chemistry they can muster against a team strong enough to take down the London Spitfire. That's right, it's our other team in this series. Let's hear it for the Florida Mayhem. Who's that? A familiar face, a familiar palm tree. It's Swoosh, that's right. Leading the team, where are they? It's just 1v6 today, Swoosh. You can do it, man. Yes. That's right, here they come. Swoosh, back with the tree again.
The Walkout King back with the palm tree for the Florida Mayhem. Nice to see him back in Los Angeles. He's been coaching over in Europe recently.
Yep, that's right. Getting Team Sweden ready for the World Cup. And he's making like a tree and leaving now. What's happening? Well, Florida Mayhem have been changing the roster quite a bit themselves, moving towards an all-Korean roster, and there's definitely been a lot of good plays coming out of this squad right now. And if you look at these names, it is a lot of good individual players, but up until their last series, it seemed like it was just a bit of trouble getting these guys to click as a unit.
Yeah, but I think when we saw them play this roster in their London match, there were a lot of pleasant surprises. BQB looks comfortable on the May. Saya player back in the hit scan comfort zone out of Brigitte prison, where he was for most of the season.
Yeah, from Daegu, South Korea. That's kind of down the center of the country. Really nice city. Been there a couple times. And now, He's in the Overwatch League, and as we look at some clips from this guy, yeah, he's playing a little bit of the Reaper. He's Death Blossoming all over the place because that's a verb now. But the Widowmaker is really this guy's forte, and he's been showing awesome stuff on that for a while now, going back to last season too.
Yeah, really skilled hit scan. I think that's what's exciting is Logix has also been performing well on hit scan, so
yeah.
A chance for Logix to get revenge on his former team, and it should be, you know, potentially a very exciting Widow duel between these two players.
Yeah, should be great. Widowmaker duel is definitely one of the spiciest spices of life in the Overwatch League right now. That's for sure. But, you know, we've seen a lot of Reapers, so we'll pray to the sniper gods and see if we can get some Widow v Widow in here. Let's take a look at our map set brought to you by Toyota. Starting things off on Ilios for Control. Then we're going to Hanamura for Assault. King Zero will be our hybrid map, and then Havana for Escort. And if we need it, that fifth and final tiebreaker map. And if the rest of the matches today are any indication, we're going to be going there. Almost guaranteed at this point.
It does seem like the Toronto Defiant will be going with the May Reaper combination. Plenty of experience on that composition this stage. And I'll see Florida Mayhem potentially going out with Saya player on the McCree. Did see London try that on well earlier in map 5. Quick switch for them though. Florida wants some mid-range damage dealers with the Hanzo as well, and they are going to be sticking with it.
Yep, that's right. With that color palette, McCree sounds like a whole different thing.
It's true.
Yeah. Red and yellow, you know what I'm talking about. You know, we see a lot of players starting out on the McCree lately, but they don't end up staying on it very long. Ooh, this is that trick that we saw Philly do just in our match before. Reaper coming up over the top, trying to get the drop on the Diva. They try to focus it, but they don't get the D-Mac like Philly do. They do get the kill onto Fate instead, so you're going to be okay with that if you're Florida Mayhem. Another one on the Hagapet and Logix, just tearing these guys apart right now. Florida Mayhem. I mean, this is some people early.
I mean, the tanks were siphoned off to the side, and they have these long-range heroes firing from across the point, but they can't do that with the Orisa barrier and the May walls. They are eventually going to give it up, and they will have to take a trip off the edge of the map. Dragon Strike was gained by BQB, so a lot of poke damage done, but Neko heals it up, and that means a fast coalescence for him.
I wish I could just like punch a wall and like leave my logo on it. That'd be a neat skill to have, wouldn't it?
I mean, you could do that.
Well, if my logo was like a fist, I guess. Like I painted my fist and then hit the wall. But it doesn't really work like that. You can't do an intricate logo. Just swipe the hand. Not yet. Someday we'll have the technology.
See what they can do with the Dena here around the flank.
Yeah, he's got to worry about the Diva. Throws the flashbang right into the defense matrix. That one's a little bit rough. Fate a little bit low though. Dragon Strike doing damage. Mangachu finishing him off right now. Saya player backs away. Now without the tank, though, Florida Mayhem gonna have a little bit of trouble pushing this one. Saya player, though, does get the kill to Sharik. Ooh, the right click.
He got another one.
He needs a left to do it. That's right. Logix does get one. Up to 50% are the Toronto Defiant right now, but Florida threatening to flip it right now. With that coalescence coming out from Neko, though, I don't know. They're going to back away for a moment. They're going to get another push here.
Yeah, they definitely are going to get another push. Nano Boost is available, too. That could go down onto BQB's Hanzo.
Oh, they flip it.
Oh!
Logix! He's like, all right, enjoy the point while it lasts. I'm coming to get you. That's right, time to reap. And he finally does go down, but not before his teammates get the rest of the cleanup. And they are just going to take this right back. Only about 12% taken by the Mayhem.
That was extremely clutch drop down from Logix there, because Florida Mayhem had the respawn advantage. Their teammates were going to be there in just a couple more seconds. So, see Logix take the risk. With the Death Blossom ends up paying off in a big way, and they get the point back, only giving up that 12%.
That's right. So Toronto, less ults to defend with. See what they can do. They've got some good ones, though. Sound Barrier and the Supercharger, definitely useful ultimates to just sit and defend one position anyway. Now Mangachu with the Blizzard as well. Uses the wall to switch, or to split the team up, rather. Deadeye does get Sharik, though. Toronto a little bit of trouble as Mangachu falls as well. Now the Dragon Strike coming in from the Florida Mayhem, but they're all in the Blizzard. Logix trying to get as many kills as he can with the Reaper off of that. Gods jumping in on the action as well. Nade for the boop on Nahago, but so it looks like Toronto Defiant still going to be able to hold, and they're at 99% right now. Florida Mayhem, oh, they flip it back. Logix stepped off for just a second, and the tanks from the Mayhem were on the point long enough to flip it.
They're trying to get back in right now. BQB has switched over to the Doomfist. They're going to get a Lucio onto the point briefly, and that's a really good move. But I don't think it's going to be enough.
I mean, he tried to shadow step out of that one, but you need to be really quick on the on the button with that one to make it when you're going down the well. It's tough to do with Reaper, even with the changes. BQB down. Florida Mayhem trying to defend again. Toronto Defiant flipped it back anyway. Neko with the 2K actually on that Moira. And Mangachu just harassing now on the Tracer, trying to force the Florida Mayhem off of there. Overtime ticking away, they barely keep it going. There's a D-Mech though onto Gargoyle.
That's just a Diva, a mini Diva, and some supports left, and that's not going to be it. So Toronto Defiant handle the Florida Mayhem on well.
That's right.
Kind of a weird composition to come out with a McCree and a Hadzo on well. That's not something we see too frequently.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to take the point back here and there, but weren't ever really able to get any, long-term control on it. So it's another one of those instances where, like, I love that people are trying the McCree, but we just haven't seen it work totally yet, I feel like.
Yeah, we saw it occasionally even in the 3-3 meta on that point.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's
never,
a classic McCree point. You go back to Pine last year, yeah.
It's never really worked, I think, super well this year.
Sure.
And especially when you have so many ways to cut off line of sight or mitigate damage with the Diva Defense Matrix or a May Wall,
I think as a McCree player, you kind of think you're going to be able to come around the corner and flashbang everybody, but with a good Diva, that's tough to do. And then you've got so much verticality on that point. Deceptively large amounts of verticality, so people can drop on top of that McCree all the time. It's rough either way. Mangachu pulled in with the halt, has to back away, gets some May Wall down. Logic's having to raid form out of danger. Saya player down. That Reaper not surviving. Nice freeze and a headshot onto Chris to finish him off. Gonna go ice block for the second. They try to continue to separate the tanks from the rest of Florida Mayhem, and it's working really well. Gargoyle gets D-Mech'd again. And Florida's struggling once more right off the bat to get any sort of presence on the point.
I think this meta, in some ways, has been very useful for the Toronto Defiant. When we look at a player like Mangachu, who's always had a somewhat unorthodox hero pool, obviously known for his Spar, but also for things like Torbjorn or weird projectile heroes, I think the May really seems to suit him. And combine that with Logic's being able to play a pretty darn good Reaper at this point in time, and you're seeing a decent control point here for the Toronto Defiant. Question for this series is, what happens when they don't play May Reaper for the Defiant? That's what you want to look at.
Probably have a chance to find out a little bit later. Neko pops the Coalescence one more time. More ultimates coming out on both sides right now. Logix does get the kill on the Fate, so once again, Florida Mayhem, they're seeming to have a hard time protecting their tanks right now, and Fate's been certainly taking the brunt out of that. Might be a positioning thing too. Meanwhile, the Blizzard comes in, Logix barely gets out of it, he's gonna jump on top of them with the Death Blossom, and that, the Blizzard plus the Death Blossom equals instant death for the entire Florida Mayhem team.
BQB with a really questionable Blizzard there after Fate had already gone down. And of course, Toronto Defiant also having their Blizzard in store means that it's much more effective. And as you know, Saya player's gonna have to try and use that Death Blossom without a whole lot of help now. Maybe they can use it during this sound barrier to get some value.
Yeah.
It's definitely a possibility. They're gonna have to go for that.
Well, Shark's got that supercharger too, so it's gonna be a little bit tough to approach. It's gonna go down right now, supercharger on both sides. As Logix fires from the high ground, Saya player does get the first kill on the Mangachu, so that's something anyway. Self-destruct comes in. God's not able to claim any kills with that one, but the sound barrier brought out by Florida Mayhem as they really try their best to flip the point, and they must do it right now. 85%, but it looks like the Florida Mayhem are finally going to get a bit of control going on this point, but look at that. Already over 90% for Toronto. Toronto really has all the time in the world to build up some ults and come back and retake.
Yeah, they do, Doa, but they're going to be matched, looks like. So Toronto Defiant behind in the ult charge battle right now.
Yeah.
But they're playing into Coalescence. Both of our Mays are about at the same point with the Blizzard, which means we could just see a fight where Blizzards cancel each other out. So right now, things pretty even. So Florida definitely has a good opportunity to run this one back.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they've got the ultimates anyway. Oh, but they lose Hakapin.
Especially when he has the Coalescence. That's so rough.
That's your fault, you know. That happened because of you.
I did it.
Self-destruct comes in. And oh man, Saya player tries to go for the Death Blossom, but the flower has wilted quickly. And Florida Mayhem gonna give that point right back over again. And it is going to be very difficult for Florida to contest now. The supports are there. They're going to use the Coalescence with Moira to try to keep it alive, and they've got Chris on the Lucio as well. Now finally, Wrecking Ball comes in. That's right there though for the kill on the Hakapin, and Logix is zoning with that Death Blossom. Now Florida Mayhem trying to walk forward again. Saya player has to reform immediately to get out of danger, and Mangachu has another Blizzard. He's going to toss it out right away. Oh, but BQB eats it. Logix for the kill on the Fate anyway. BQB's Blizzard, the one not working out. Nothing working out, unfortunately, for the Florida Mayhem right now. And it looks like the Toronto Defiant are going to be able to hold strong and going to be able to take this map 2-0.
Well, Defiant capitalizing on the pick on the Hagapun.
Yep.
Just a right click from across the map from Mangachu. And dominant show of force here from Toronto in our first map of the series.
Yeah, you know, going into this one, we were like, all right, well, Florida looking a little bit better, a lot better against London. What are we going to see against Toronto? But so far, the Defiant coming out on top. We'll see if Florida Mayhem can tie it up when we come back for map number 2.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Resistance. Vamos esculachar! Nerf this!
Welcome to Assist of the Week, presented by State Farm. The NYXL were trying to secure a 3-0 win over the Paris Eternal and had almost stopped the Eternals' push when Finzi and the team tried one last time to gain control. With Meko's Diva waiting in the wings, Libero's May dropped a clutch ice wall to trap the Eternal while Meko ulted over their heads.
Myers, he doesn't get much done. The hook going to be denied away by the ice block from Libero. Now the self-destruct goes in, and Meko comes up with 3.
Tons of fun for Florida Defiant, or Toronto Defiant, rather. We're combining, you know, the Florida Mayhem Academy, they were all on the same team at some point, so whatever. Anyway, Toronto Defiant winning the first map in this series, looking pretty dominant on Ilios. We're going to Hanamura next. And what, in your opinion, Monty, does Florida need to do?
Well, I think this is just going to be a better map for Florida. I think that Defiant are strong in the Reaper May mirrors right now, and also important to note that when we look at Ilios, it's probably Defiant's best map. They're now 6-1 on it, whereas Florida Mayhem are now 0-8. So they haven't even ever won it this year.
Yikes.
So coming into this, both teams 2-1 will be a little bit closer, one would believe.
Both teams 2-1 on this map,
Yep.
right? Yeah. Looks like it's going to be Toronto Defiant going on the attack first. Florida Mayhem electing to defend here.
We're going to see what happens here with the Florida Mayhem. Toronto Defiant looking like they might run a far here to start things off.
Yeah.
And their Widowmaker on the side of Florida Mayhem does make it just a little bit harder to stop those Faras, but nope, it's back to the Reaper May, so
All right.
not too surprising.
There's a lot of damage on Reaper, but hey, when you just kind of
When you
sit
wall them
there,
off and he just
left click.
holds left click, that's
Well, he also had some really huge Death Blossoms too, so that's gonna add to your damage a lot just right there.
huge Death Blossoms. Very
Yep.
good.
That's right.
All right. So Gargoyle actually going to get initial pick here, and
Out, Chris, Immortality Field Saya player. Yeah, that's the thing about that Immortality Field. You can kill it quick, but it takes time to target that ability, and when you do, you're gonna get shot by the Hanzo. Clearly.
it definitely is. So Saya player And he's showing up there. Logic's tried just to get a kill at the end to see if they could get a respawn advantage. It was a noble attempt.
Why not? It's fun.
Might as well give it a shot if you're already considering the reset as a unit there. Second attack here.
As long as you're not exposing yourself to more danger and staggering your own team, you know. Here they come. Through the gates. Maywall pops over the air. Logic's through the back lines again. A little bit of trouble. He has to Wraithform away. Just trying to disrupt the defensive lines from Florida Mayhem. They drop the Immortality field back up a bit. Gargoyle gets the kill onto Logic's, though. And Toronto Defiant struggling to push through the doorway again.
Yeah, well, the Wraithform was already forced out. And the thing about what Logic was doing was he took the attention of 2 members of the Florida Mayhem away and
That's the
traded
idea.
that for his Wraithform. But if you're the rest of your team can't get it done while the Hanzo damage isn't coming in, well, you're just going to be a sitting duck for that Roadhog hook right afterward.
Pretty much. So if Reaper is just a distraction in that situation, you've got the May there, but the May is relatively short range unless you're going at the right clicks, which fire kind of slowly. So where does the damage really come from if your Reaper is doing it? I think that's the kind of question for Toronto's attack right now. Definitely a good one. Going again, there's the Amp Matrix though coming in for Florida Mayhem. That's going to be a lot of danger, a lot of damage in there. The Dragon Strike getting used. Neko trying to push forward though with the Coalescence, but Saya player says no to Shark. Hagopin picking one up on the Gods as well. The Blizzard from BQB paving the way, and there's no escape for the May right now. Mangachu sent back to spawn again, and Logic has Wraithform to escape.
That's an important exit kill though for the Toronto Defiant.
Yeah.
So Chris falls at the end of the conflict and now might have a little bit more trouble, the Florida Mayhem, defending this next engagement. Now they do have Whole Hog and Transcendence to buy time and push them off the point. So we have to wait for Chris to come around the side here.
High ground again for Logic's.
Ooh, nice Discord Orb on the hook. That really melted that mech of gods.
Yep. Out of the mech already. Mangachu has a Blizzard loaded up. Toronto Defiant at least are through the door now. Oh! Gods! He wasn't even in the mech anyway, but that was a halt into a...
It's like a horror movie where
I
he just like
know,
disappears through a doorway like a meat hook coming
Like
out.
a Bugs Bunny cartoon or something too, with like the like shepherds coming around the corner. That's right.
All right, Toronto Defiant coming in. They nearly have all 6 ultimates available to them. Florida Mayhem has to survive here with his Dragon Strike and a Transcendence.
Here comes Logix. He's got a Death Blossom. He wants to use these. That's to attack that Supercharger though. Waits for the Blizzard. Wraithform comes out. He's got the shields from the Sound Bearers. Oh,
beautiful.
Gods gets 2. With the self-destruct, and finally Toronto Defiant going to be able to secure point A for the attackers. As soon as they deal with these pesky damage and support players. There we go.
Yeah, that was a really interesting self-destruct.
A little bit to the left, Logix. Yeah. Nope. That was close. He tried.
The self-destruct from Gods came around the outside. We're going to take a look at it again here in just a moment.
There we go.
So you'll notice that there's a Blizzard on the outside, so he kills it with the missiles. Kills the Immortality field, just barely goes down. And then 2 players on the outside. Look at that, the instant the ice block ends. The self-destruct, that was a beautifully timed play by Gods.
Hagopin tried to block some of that self-destruct damage as well. You can body block it in Transcendence, but he just bounced a little bit too far past and didn't quite get the line of sight right, but nice attempt by Hagopin anyway.
The fact that Gods also killed that with his Bunny Blaster after getting it low with the micro missiles, it's just a sick play by Gods.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why they brought him onto this team. The better flex tanks out there, and he's a good DPS player as well. If they ever decide to change role. Logic's down though early on, and there's goes Shark, so the attack on point B is gonna get stopped cold here. Looks like the Toronto Defiant will need to regroup a little bit. Late kill on Aid. Aside from that, the stagger's not too bad for Defiant to deal with.
Coming in with a Blizzard right now. The Defiance, I have players still sitting on that Dragon Strike though. And it is very good in these small chokes that comprise the attack here on B for the Defiant. Looks like they're gonna try and go through main this time.
All right.
Easiest place to not get Dragon struck.
Yeah, Alt doesn't really grab anybody there. Supercharger though for the Florida Mayhem. Logix. Oh, nice
the timing.
What a great timing of that arrow. Yeah, right as the Wraithform ended. Doesn't last for too long. Jarek in a little bit of trouble here. Now the Dragon Strike coming through the point. And that might do the trick. We'll see. Gods did get the kill on Defiant, so Florida Mayhem struggling a little bit, but now Saya player taking matters into his own hands and using those hands to send arrow after arrow into the Toronto Defiant. That's going to be about it.
Solid defense so far from the Florida Mayhem. Defiant having a couple of opportunities, but for the most part, the Mayhem just staying spread out right there, getting that quick kill onto Logix, eliminates most of the Defiant's damage on the point. And, you know, having the Reaper on the point is the most dangerous factor when it comes to a retake from the defending team. So if he's not there, it's a lot easier just to run in and clean things up.
Very true. Ooh, Saya play with a kill on the aid right as things begin. Logic's gonna go in anyway. And they've only got 40 seconds left. They need to make something happen here. Either that or you regroup fast, but no, they're just gonna kind of let the kills sort of stagger out. And now Toronto Defiant's attack in big trouble.
I'm not sure I would have shadow stepped onto the balcony with the D.Va and the Orisa if I was Logix. Doesn't seem like you're gonna get much done there.
He was counting on the ghostly intimidation back.
I mean, I was just watching,
scary.
just watching Gargoyle just defense matrix him. Like, okay.
That works.
That's
10
what you wanna
seconds
do?
for Toronto Defiant. They gotta get in there. They gotta touch the point somehow. Looks like it's gonna be on Gods probably to get in there and do that. Maywall comes in for both sides. They do manage to touch it. That's right, they're on, but now BQB, he has a Blizzard. Can they kill him before he uses it? No, they cannot. And man, with the frozen D.Va mech, God's unable to eat that Blizzard, and that is a problem. Florida Mayhem defending this point easily. Unless there are going to be some major heroics coming in, we'll see. Blizzard used, but no kills coming in for Toronto in this point B attempt. And I think one tick is all they're going to really be able to get here on this attack. Florida Mayhem, solid point A defense, solid point B defense. Good opportunity for them to win this map.
I mean, nothing you can really do right there. You have to fly in as D.Va to touch.
Sure.
There's a May on the back of the point. You get frozen, then the Blizzard goes down, and that's it, basically. So not a really good chance there for the Defiant to finish out that attack.
Toronto going to be looking for a strong point A defense when we flip sides and come back. We'll see if Florida Mayhem can get it done.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Special attack.
We are back on the beautiful map of Hanamura, where Florida Mayhem were able to put together a pretty solid defense against Toronto Defiant. Took a lot of time off the clock on A, and then held Toronto to just over one tick, 41.1% on point B, and that is the mark that Florida Mayhem is going to try to get to as they get ready to get their attack going right here. And what is this? A classic hard point. We got the Bastion going on. All right.
Well, Florida Mayhem is probably not going to want to play May Reaper when they see this.
From that, a little bit tough to dive the Bastion with Reaper.
If you can use the May wall efficiently, you might be able to get to the point with a speed boost, but
I mean, it's tougher now because they lowered the health on the Maywall a few patches ago, and you can't really block damage Bastion like you used to be able to. They're going to try it. gonna go for it. Let's see, he goes right through there. Oh dear. Oh no. The halt and Fate is immediately eliminated. There goes BQB as well. Yeah, when you run at the Bastion, no. Oh, it's getting really rough now.
You have to actually eat the halt. Otherwise, you just get halted into the Bastion line of fire. Mangachu has a barrage already, basically.
Well, that helps.
All right, double sniper. Seems like a better plan.
And we didn't even look at any of the power clips there because there's too much going on with Logic, just eliminating people left and right. Yeah, but yeah, during that, Mangachu was hitting a lot of rockets too. Between the Orisa shield and the defense matrix, it's going to be very difficult to get rid of this Bastion. On board with Mangachu now. He's got Aid on the Mercy, buffing his damage a bit.
There you go.
Aid from Aid. Side player finally picks up a kill on this Sherrick. Wow.
Yeah, and they're also covering that point with the... They're trying to prevent the resurrection with the Coalescence.
That's the idea. Mangachu, though, coming in. He's got the barrage. Not able to use it. BQB picks him out of the air with a Storm Arrow. And now Toronto Defiant, they gotta move. And I guess if you're gonna get onto the point, Configuration take his way to do it. Oh no, dismantled though by Gargoyle on that Diva. BQB getting close to a Dragon Strike, but gonna need to pull some real heroics here. Looks like they might be able to do just that as Gods. Diva back gets lower and lower. Dragon Strike just gotta throw it out there, but it hits Sharek. He wasn't able to dodge it somehow. No kills from God self-destruct, and that's point 8 taken pretty quick by Florida.
That was a really good execution by the Mayhem.
It was,
so they spam down the shield, get the elimination onto Sherrick, and then what they do is they already have the Coalescence from all that rocket damage that was coming in.
Right.
So they go ahead and use it while they're trying to get the resurrection. They're all clumped up around that hard point. See Gargoyle diving in as well. They don't get the res, and like, this is a pretty clean execution here from Florida. They got plenty of time now just to get a little more than one tick.
Not bad. Florida Mayhem now, what are they gonna do? There's a halt. Okay, brings in Gods. He drops to the floor to avoid that damage. Meanwhile, Supercharger for Florida Mayhem. Anti-heal on Saya player, but he's not really in too much danger. There's a self-destruct. May wall up just in time to block that one. And Agapit finally finds the first hero kill of it. He's gonna get 2 with the Coalescence. He's not done yet. Florida Mayhem jumping in right now. Now Agapit on the point, ready to take down Neko as he tries to get back to safety. Looking real good for Florida right now here on Hanamura. Can they finish it off? Immortality Field does not last too long, and neither does Mangachu on the Doomfist. 41, 35. They're almost there, and that is it. Florida Mayhem, a clean effort on Hanamura to tie the series up.
That was some really good Coalescence play as a team by the Mayhem. They threw the self-destruct in, which forced the wall, but everybody was on the other side. Then the Coalescence comes through and just rips through the Defiant on the high ground. Nicely done.
Yeah, really great execution offensively and defensively from Florida Mayhem on that map, and we'll see. Call it what you will, skill, the swoosh effect. Either way, we got a tie series going into the half. See you in a few.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
We might have yet another map 5 on our hands after Toronto came out and took map 1. It was the Mayhem getting the job done on Hanamura to tie things up at 1-1 coming into the half. What's up, everybody? Oh no, I'm a tree. I'm a tree. I'm just playing, guys. It's me. I'm still here. No, I messed up the tree too.
Did you break it?
Did you snap the tree in half? No, it's fine. Guys, we're here at halftime. We got Brand, we got Sideshow. We're getting ready to break down an amazing first half.
Put it back, quick.
Good job, dude.
Quick. It's all good.
Job, good job.
It's all fixed.
Well, as you guys can see, we're having a good time. You know who else has been having a good time? Both of these teams. It's been a really close matchup so far between the Defiant and the Mayhem. What do you guys think about the first half?
Phenomenal, really. A lot on the line with this one.
Well, both of these teams have been improving, right? But they've been improving just as they've been eliminated from playoff contention, which makes it a little less satisfying to see these two teams actually start to fulfill their potential. But never mind, it's actually nice to see two teams that have not been gaining really much momentum over the course of the entire season now finally find some success. Florida Mayhem came off a win against London. Toronto came off a win against Shanghai. Both of these two teams, I mean, this is potentially a better match than Paris-Philly you just watched.
Yeah. You sound like a child's TV show presenter in the way you're presenting this.
Well, I mean,
excitement.
I'm genuinely quite excited for this match, despite the fact that it doesn't have that many playoff implications.
Yeah, and it is very good to see that these teams are actually finally improving. It bodes very well for the 2020 season that we're going to be moving into as well. Hanamura as well. I mean, we were expecting a close game between these two teams. Toronto have definitely been surprising with their own little plays, but it's ended up being Florida Mayhem taking this map in the end. I mean, it's just what you come to expect as well when Sire players on any role where you can really perform and do well.
Same with Logix, right? It's Sire Player and Logix, the two teams that these rosters have been built around.
Two players.
Yeah, sorry, the two players that these rosters have been built around. But I want to talk about Gargoyle as well, because the guy's actually been a real improvement for the Florida Mayhem. He's come in on his Roadhog and he's had a huge difference for this team. Whenever he's able to pick up that hero or when he's able to pick up the Diva, the guy's been impressive. And one of the biggest differences between the Florida Mayhem roster that we saw previously when they weren't having any success and this one. I'm not sure how the second half is going to play out, actually. But I do think that we're actually seeing a fairly decent level of Overwatch.
Yeah. You got a coin on you, by any chance?
No. You want to flip it?
No, we'll leave it then.
Well, I know many people were expecting a close match, but Logix, he's been cooking against his former team, the Florida Mayhem, so far on that Reaper. Been loving it.
Absolutely destroying. Yeah, Logix has always been an impressive Reaper, though it hasn't been in the meta very often, much to your dismay, Malik.
Yeah, it's a weird one as well, though. It's pretty unusual to see Reapers, I think, popping off in this meta right now, because it's long, stretched out team fights. You'll often find that there's not really any side getting a lot of kills unless other team drastically slips up in general. I'm really quite distracted by this palm tree. I do apologize.
You look like you're holding on to it to stop yourself falling over.
Yeah, it feels like that, honestly.
It looks wild, man. All right, well, speaking of former Mayhem players, Swoosh made his return today with the walkout with his former team. It was so cool to see Swoosh back in action here. You know,
how did he manage to carry it without breaking the
held it from the bottom.
Yeah, I know.
I've not done that. I've held it from the top.
How he felt.
It's because he's a Giga Chad. That's
he is a Giga Chad, yeah. Look at the size of it.
I love this. The entire Korean roster for the Florida Mayhem were looking at him like, thank you, Mr. Viking man, for carrying out our tree.
Swoosh, man, such a big guy. All right, well, today's walkout was definitely solid, but it just reminded me of all the great Mayhem walkouts from last season. They had tons of them. And teams need to bring back the fun walkouts. Which one was you guys' favorite? We had the dodgeball.
Yeah.
A little bit of,
I miss it.
this is like disco, a little cha-cha.
You know, the old Florida Mayhem squad, they brought a lot of personality with the walkout.
They certainly did. They didn't let all the losses affect them. They still came out with a smile on their face,
horses in the
ready
back
to face defeat once again.
Some Gangnam style. Oh, man.
I love this. This one's so good as well. It was so coordinated.
Oh, I love it.
And they ended up letting it fade off towards the end of the season, you know, really focused on their own performance instead. We need to get that energy back in here. I want to see new, especially for teams that have been eliminated from playoff contention. Come on, Toronto. Where was that kind of energy today?
I'm saying, bring it. Bring back the entrances. We love them. We love them. Well, you know what? Another shout out to the Mayhem because they were able to walk out with the streak without breaking it. I don't know how they were able to pull that off. They're amazing. Map 3 is Kings Row. Guys, who is this map benefiting going into this?
Anyone's game at this point, honestly, is how I'm looking at it. These are two very evenly matched teams. They've been improving at such a drastic rate. And the trouble is as well, because we're into a new meta, you often see very variable results. It's kind of all over the place in a lot of the senses. So it's much harder to predict a lot of the way these matches are going to go, especially when the teams are evenly matched and they're both improving at roughly the same rate. So, I mean, I'm going to pull a Swiss card, I think. I'm not from Switzerland, but I'd rather just not predict a team for this one.
I'm going to give a slight edge to Toronto, though, with Logix, because I think with him on the roster and being able to play that Reaper...
Bro,
murdered the tree, Fred!
You are not eco-friendly at all, Brand. Jeez.
Murdered the tree.
All right.
It's actually terrible.
All right. So you're giving it to the Logix and the Toronto Defiant
Logix
second half
and the Toronto
side
Defiant because they'll be able to play the May.
All right, well, guys, it's all knotted up. 1-1. We're going to see if we can not destroy any more trees and sit back and watch the second half. I suggest you guys do the same right after the break.
What do with this?
And that's Dallas setting themselves up for a quick take here.
Coming from a small town to like a big city like this, it's definitely different, but also cool and exciting. It sucks like leaving my friends and stuff behind and family, but like I knew what I wanted to do and this is what I want to do in life.
Trill nails the shatter.
I just want to have fun and just do something that makes me happy, right? And this makes me happy. Getting to like travel, meet new people. I feel like this is like a once in a lifetime sort of thing. So like I just want to take it and just like run with it as long as I can.
Special attack.
Welcome back, my fellow gamers, to another wonderful match of the Overwatch League. Toronto Defiant tied up with the Florida Mayhem as we go into our hybrid map. And Florida Mayhem looked really, really tight on Hanamura. The execution was very good on attack and defense. You know, we saw the halftime crew talk about it. We talked about it too. Just the throwing in the self-destruct, putting the May wall, forcing the entire team to turn the wrong direction, and then roasting them with the coalescence. That's the kind of play that I enjoy seeing, man. It's kind of the trick plays. Switching it up. Speaking of switching it up, no substitutions that I know of. So, you got trolled there. BQB, it's always been in there.
What are you talking about? We're looking at BQB. He's been playing the whole series.
I just wanted to see if people were paying attention. I still don't know if they were or not, but, you know.
Well, you know I was paying attention at the very least.
I do know that. Was I? That's the real question. Kings Row is going to be our next map. Hybrid map coming in. See who takes the lead in this series. Unless we have a draw, then nobody takes the lead. 4-4 for the Defiant on this map. 1-5 though for the Mayhem.
Yeah, read into that what you will with the drastic meta changes.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That we've seen here in Stage 4, but I do tend to agree with our halftime crew saying that the May Reaper does play itself really nicely into the last 2 points on this map. I mean, in the first point too, who am I kidding? But they're not going to run it. They are going to run Logics on the Widowmaker.
All right.
So still going to be a very May-focused map overall.
It's possible too that they just want to see if he can hit a shot, like get a pick and then swap to the Reaper. We'll see how long he sticks with it. Saya player. Staying on the Hanzo for now. All right. Hagupin on the Zen though. Interesting. Mortality Field comes down right away, saving Fate's life. That's a headshot connecting from Saya player, but all the healing is there.
Yeah, the thing is though that Toronto Defiant have very weak shield pressure with this composition, especially compared with the Florida Mayhem have. So it means they've got to get a pick or obey wall off, because they're just going to keep getting pushed back into the corner like this when the Hanzo is on the side of the Mayhem.
Vision for Saya player. Got the Sonic Arrow in there. Close quarters combat. Logix has to drop down. He cedes the high ground to Saya player here, but he can still take those shots. Oh, through the tree. That tree is in more danger than the tree during the halftime segment. Agabud gets a kill onto the Immortality Field, but Neko gets a kill onto Fate, and Florida Mayhem pushed back as they can't quite approach without their main tank.
Yeah, you're gonna try and get out. Looks like Hagupin will escape with just a sliver of HP. Saya player will probably not be so lucky here. He's in
0 HP here for Saya player.
Yeah, he's gonna die eventually. There you go. Aid will deliver the coup de grace to him, finally putting him out of his misery.
The opposite of aiding, really.
Well,
Not
he
that I mind.
aided him to go back to spawn.
That's true. It's an aid of a different kind. Toronto Defiant. Couple ultimates. They've got the Blizzard for Mangachu, and Logix has that Infra Sight. Hook not going to work out. Whoa. Fate
fortifying.
Yeah. If you hit Fortify right when you get halted, you fly really high too. Which is hilarious. Here comes a Dragon Strike. That team forces him off the point. They get Sharik. All right. Florida Mayhem pushing forward now. But here comes a Blizzard. Saya player gets another kill onto Logix though. BQB trying to stand strong, and now Saya player gets grabbed by gods. Mangachu down though, so Florida Mayhem still in a position to push. They are now on the point right now.
Yeah, Frozen as well, so easy eliminations here. It's only going to be Neko remaining.
Not anymore.
And he falls also. Really good Transcendence timing to keep the members of the Florida Mayhem alive in Mangachu's Blizzard. And now Florida pushes on through. So a couple minutes taken off the clock there. After a slower attack, not super slow attack from the Florida Mayhem.
Average. Wasn't slow, wasn't fast. It was medium.
Medium attack.
Yep.
Fate gonna...
Fate in trouble here.
Nice
Ooh,
wall.
Maywall saves him. Yeah, Immortality and Immortality Field Maywall
Yeah,
bails out Fate.
I mean, it's fun to see how the teams play around wall, because if you get that little sliver out, then you can get line of sight to put your own Maywall up.
Right,
So,
that is true.
there you go. That's what happened right there. They're able to save Fate.
Maywall again blocking the damage coming in from the Amp Matrix. Meanwhile, Toronto Defiant losing gods as Florida Mayhem continues to push forward, but Fate is down now too. So that's supercharger. Not enough just yet, but with the whole hog, finally Florida Mayhem gets a little bit of progress going on this payload. A little bit of a delay from Mangachu. He's got the Blizzard. He's not going to go for it though. Going to save that ultimate for now, just to die on the payload kind of situation.
Yeah, he is going to save that ultimate, but Defiant not going to have a lot left now when it comes to their ults. Maybe a Transcendence on this next push, but BQB will be able to match that Blizzard pretty soon.
Yep.
And they'll have a Trance of their own, so probably going to be double Blizzard, double Trance, and maybe Saya player can get some of that damage through the Dragon Strike.
It's been interesting to see Hagupin staying on the Zenyatta for the entire time. Obviously, the Transcendence is nice and the extra damage is good, but the healing is so much lower. It's the Dragon Strike. Neko has to pop the Transcendence. Would have died otherwise. And now the Blizzard coming in for both teams here. 8 down first. An early kill for Florida. Hagupin keeping everybody alive with the Zen ultimate. Dude, that's why you run it. BQB down though after the Zen ultimate is out of commission. Mangachu taken out as well. It looks like Florida Mayhem might just be able to grind this through. They lost Saya player, but there's not a lot of members of Toronto left on the payload.
I mean, that was a really good use of that Dragon Strike because it forced the Transcendence so that they could not be split up, the Toronto Defiant, which meant that the Blizzards came down, but the Trance came out so much later on the Florida Mayhem side, and they're able to use that to provide more healing during the actual combat, not just to get to the payload. So planning good here from the Florida Mayhem, and they're able just to pretty easily move through point B.
Question now, will Logix find the angle to drop in with the Reaper here? We'll see. Florida Mayhem having to give a little bit of ground as Toronto gets aggressive.
The Vela keeps moving though, as these May walls go down for both sides. Finally stopped up here, as Logic's gonna try and get above the enemy team. Looking for that opportunity to use the Death Blossom.
Had the defense matrix
Nice
got too to make that approach. Good wall to block the damage, and as soon as it goes down, guess who's behind the wall? It's Logix. He's gonna Death Blossom, but he only gets the kill. On to Chris. Gargoyle coming in though with Hagabin to grab a few more. Oh, but Gods with the 3K self-destruct.
Oh, he totally
it around.
saved that.
No kidding.
What a self-destruct
there.
Yeah, as they came in.
Wow. Well, that's the kind of play you pick up Gods for your team.
Smiting you from above.
That's right.
As it should be.
They have been oh wait, that's something different.
A little bit different.
A little bit different. Halt. All right, Gods there with the defense matrix, protect his team. Magnitude walking forward, got the Blizzard. They had to sleep on the BQB. I'm surprised he didn't use that there. They're going for it anyway. Now the Reaper has a nano boost. Here comes Logix walking forward again, gets slowed down a little bit by the Blizzard. He has to back away. Meanwhile, Mangachu gets the sound barrier as he gets frozen, gonna die anyway. And so Defiant uses the sound barrier, but they don't really get anything out of it.
They over-pursued into that Blizzard, Noah, and now they're getting taken down one by one.
Well, it seems like there was just kind of like a mix-up in calls on that Blizzard, because some people went forward out of it, some people went back, and I think if they would have just picked one, they would have come out a lot better either way.
And this is where the Transcendence really shines for Hagapin. When you're right at the end of this point and you know they have to jump onto the payload in order to stop you, you've got that massive AoE healing. And Florida in a great place to stop, to just finish this push.
That's right, Logix trying to get behind everybody. Hagapin at the Transcendence as they get aggressive on the rest of Toronto here. Sharik gets frozen. Hagapin there, trancing like we talked about, and Saya player buoyed by the power of the sound barrier, uses his shield to die away. And it's Toronto who exits, and it's Florida who finishes their attack.
Florida's execution has been really strong in these last two maps.
Yeah.
But some really good use of their ult economy, good setup on these plays. And that'll give them 3 points here on Kings Row.
Florida still looking strong, following that momentum from the win on Hanamura. We'll see if Toronto Defiant can turn it around when we come back.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Team up for special attack.
Into the iris. Pass into the iris. Experience tranquility.
Here we are. Florida Mayhem with a strong attack on Kings Row, getting it done with 1:15 left in the time bank. That is the mark that the Toronto Defiant have before them. Gargoyle, of course, playing pretty well on the Roadhog.
Massive upgrade at the flex tank position, needless to say, for the Florida Mayhem.
And a great animated Disney cartoon in the 90s. That was Gargoyles with an S, though.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. That's your favorite?
Not my favorite.
What's your favorite?
Out of, like, Disney cartoons?
Yeah.
I gotta go with, oh, it's tough. It's tough to choose between DuckTales and Tailspin.
Ah, okay.
They both have tails in them, spelled differently. Different kinds of tails, really. In spelling, but not in meaning. So I don't know, it's tough. So I'll have to think about that. Toronto Defiant on the attack. And we go with the Reaper main. Comp as you would expect. Saya player, though, still on the Hanzo for the Florida side.
And Logic's looking at horse butt, as you do on an approach.
That happens sometimes, you know? Mechano horse. God's already out of the mech. It's a rough start for Toronto here on the attack. And yeah, Saya player's making it rougher with a bunch of kills, getting 2. Gargoyle 2 as well. And Saya player helping clean things off, finish things as Toronto Defiant sent back with a clean team kill by the Mayhem.
Yeah, but there is potentially an opportunity here because of how slow Orisa is. Getting back to the point, Fate is going to canter slowly back to the defensive point on King's Row. He's making it through the choke now, so we'll be here just in the nick of time.
You know, horses are fast, but centaurs must be slow. I don't know. Maybe that's the reason for Orisa not being too quick. Here we go again, Florida Mayhem. Walling Mangachu off from the rest of his team right now. Mortality Field does go down. Hagapa chased away. Oh boy, Gods gets him, but Gargoyle with 2, and now Amplification Matrix comes in. Blizzard from Mangachu, a lot of blows being traded on both sides. This does, of course, favor Florida, even if they're not able to take the point right now, which it doesn't seem like they'll be able to, but they're going to have the quicker respawns.
Yeah, I mean, this stagger, though, is going to eliminate any kind of advantage. As Nietzsche is right, Gods is dead.
I'm sure he was thinking about Overwatch when he wrote that.
I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was.
That's right. Pleasant guy, that Nietzsche, I've heard.
He's great.
Well, 8 has the sound barrier. Other than that, Toronto Defiant not with a lot of tools to attack this here. On board with Gargoyle as Roadhog right now. Sound barrier, they're going to go for it. Oh, Saya player's Dragon Strike got eaten by Gods. And then Saya player himself got eaten by Gods as well. Neko down, Hagavin striking back. And that's a nice hook into the whole hog from Gargoyle as they try to push Toronto back again. Great form, and Logic's on the run here. Florida Mayhem still standing strong, and it looked a little bit tricky for a moment. They lost the Hanzo, but that's all they lost.
I mean, Defiant are right, though, to pull back right then, because they know that they'll have a small window of time, but maybe the Hanzo will get back. Looks like Saya player's going to get to the high ground just in the nick of time. Lots of ults used on the side of the Mayhem, and Mangachu has that Blizzard. It is time.
You'd think it would be Aid. Ooh, oh wow.
Gods the save.
Gods again comes in and takes down Saya player, the 1v1. Goodbye Fate as well. He can't survive. Desperation Amplification Matrix comes in from Logic's, but it's not going to do any good. He's just going to look through it like a window to his own team's victory. There goes Hagopin. And that's going to be point A, taken by Toronto.
A good read on the situation by Gods. Goes up there, especially after eating that Dragon Strike, too. That was all Florida Mayhem really had when it came to ultimates. And without that, the Blizzard on the point, too much to handle.
Gods is such a good mechanical player, and he always has been on a lot of different heroes, including a lot of damage heroes. So definitely good to have that diva on your team that is going to swoop in and save you at the last moment.
Hey, he set a map record for eating ults already this stage. Certainly one of the best pickups, I think, for this Toronto Defiant team.
Yep.
And we're going to see Fate take out Sherrick with a little help of a May wall. They get a D-Mech on the Gods, too. That's going to be a little bit rough for them.
Yeah, now things not so great for Toronto Defiant. They're going to get stalled out at the beginning of the payload section of this map, but this is a place a lot of teams like to hold. We'll see how long Florida Mayhem can keep it stuck here.
I mean, Florida now is getting their ults back online after losing that last fight, and with a May, with that wall, with the Blizzard, it's going to be very hard for them to stop this. There's a nano boosted Reaper in the backline, so Logic's trying to get some damage done.
Yeah, it could be dangerous for Florida, especially with the anti-heal comes in from Neko as well. Sound barrier for the Defiant as they try to seal the deal with this fight, but BQB striking back with the Blizzard now. Sharek down, and Saya player takes out his Reaper counterpart. So Florida Mayhem have been moved, but have not been stopped just yet. Now the Blizzard coming in, and Saya player gets a 2K anyway before being taken out by the self-destruct. And when the dust clears, it's still going to be Florida Mayhem stopping that payload.
Yeah, but they're going to have to back off. They have a pilot diva right now. Gargoyle going to get left on the ground. Respawn's coming in faster for the Defiant. So in the end, the Blizzard and the self-destruct actually do get value, even though the Defiant had to retreat temporarily.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, we'll see if Florida Mayhem can muster another point D defense, or point B rather, defense at the end of this.
They should be able to. Should be able to come back in right now.
All right. Ultimates for Toronto Defiant looking pretty good though. Logic sneaking around the side. Oh, side player though, taking a little bit of damage. He's just gonna try to go forward here. Up on the high ground, coming from behind from the top ropes. Here comes Reaper, the sound barrier there to mitigate a lot of that damage, and he doesn't come away with any kills off of that ultimate. BQB though gets one onto Sharek, and now Logic's anti-yield in a little bit of trouble. Tries to get away. He's gonna be able to shadow step out of danger.
Nano
But
boost
now
on
with
the
Nano
Logic.
boost coming back in again. A kill onto Fate, and he's not done yet. That's 2, and it's gonna be a D-Mech onto Gargoyle as well. Florida Mayhem though trading. They're giving as good as they're getting right now, and with the longer respawn distance from Toronto, it's still gonna be Toronto sitting on, or Florida sitting on the payload.
Yeah, Toronto thought they had an opening there because they had seen the sound barrier and the coalescence already go down. Why not throw that nano boosted Reaper into the front line at that point in time? They're gonna have another Blizzard when they come around with this next attack, but that'll be matched by BQB.
Should be QB. And down to about 20 seconds remaining for Toronto. They're gonna lead in with the Blizzard, but oh man, they're not gonna get anything out of that at all. And now BQB turns around with his self-destruct. This time for God's not quite as successful. And Toronto Defiant loses their Lucio as Florida Mayhem looks to lock up this map and take the lead in the series. Saya player from on high gets 2 if you include the God's mech, and I do, and that's it. Florida Mayhem with another one-sided map in their favor.
And that was a map that I think favored, at least on paper, the Toronto Defiant, but they come out with a strong Reaper Bay combination of their own. And Florida Mayhem now 1 away for another win here and looking good.
And 2 in a row would be a big deal for them. Let's see if they can close it out when we come back.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
And we come to it now. What could be another match win for Florida Mayhem. Their second match win in a row, and they actually haven't won 2 matches in a row since they played the Shanghai Dragons and the Dallas Fuel back-to-back last season in 2018. So they've done it before, but it's been a long time. And it was against 2 teams that were, shall we say, struggling at the time.
Yeah, neither of those teams was the London Spitfire, like we saw the Florida Mayhem take down.
Right. And
shut out, actually, only with that draw.
I think you can safely say Toronto Defiant in its current state is still quite a bit better than Shanghai and Dallas were in that state last year, too. So.
I agree with that. I think Toronto has been performing pretty well overall. And guess what?
Check out.
When no one's won on this map, someone must win.
Wow, I'm just glad we could be here for this. Somebody's first win on Havana.
And knowing how things are going today, Doa, we'll definitely be in for a map 5, so Toronto victory incoming.
Let's do it. 20 games of Overwatch in one day. Can you handle it?
I don't think we've actually had 4 map 5s this season.
Have we?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe.
All right.
I can't remember things like that.
All right, we'll ask Captain Planet.
All right.
Get on that, Ben Troutman.
Be our hero. Take our lack of knowledge down to 0. Florida Mayhem on the attack here, in case you hadn't noticed. Toronto Defiant on the defense, but it's not looking like a good one as Mangachu and Gods both out of commission here. Gods without his mech, only the Bunny Blaster. Logic's come back for the kill on the Crisp, but Saya players like, anything you can do, I can do better and more devastatingly. As I finally chased down the mini diva. Okay, that was harder than I expected, but he finally got it done.
Pilot Diva just bouncing around on the cart there. Toronto Defiant did get the coalescence in spite of the losing fight.
Is it strange that Pilot Diva is theoretically, it looks more agile outside of the mech than in it?
Well, the mech can fly though, so I'm pretty sure on the ground I'm more agile than an F-15.
On the ground, yes, I suppose you might be. The turning radius is much better, at least. Neko does have the coalescence here as Toronto Defiant push in. They've got the sound barrier as well, I suppose. QB with the Blizzard, ooh, nearly takes down Logics. He has to Wraith form away, and as soon as he's done, it's going to be a Frozen Reaper. Gets chased down by Gods, trying to save the day again. There's the Blizzard, ooh, traps him in the room. Meanwhile, the sound barrier comes in for Toronto, but it's not soon enough to save Shark on the Orisa, and Florida Mayhem still pushing ahead. Side player doing a ton of damage, and barely can't get out of the Blizzard, but he's okay. He's got the sound barrier. Mangachu does kill BQB, so it is a 6v5 in favor of Florida at the moment. No, it's not. It's a 5v5 as Shark is not yet back to the fight at the moment.
Yeah, and there's the Death Blossom onto the payload. They're just trying to buy some room here, and they do catch 8 out in the open.
They do indeed. Now the self-destruct for Gods, and he's going to catch Hagopin with it. Saya player down, or takes Logic's down. He's going to get another one as well, as it doesn't look like Toronto Defiant is going to be able to stop this payload from getting to the end of A. Seems like it's only a matter of time. And God's back to spawn.
Well, quick delivery here to point B. Florida Mayhem racing through Havana.
No kidding.
Thus far, I have another coalescence up and available to them. Swaps coming in now from the Defiant, Roadhog, and the Zenyatta. So setting themselves up for a big pick composition with the help of Logics on the Hanzo.
Into the Don Robotico distillery. What does he make? I'll give you a clue. It's in his name.
He makes Dons?
You're right. Udon noodles specifically. Yeah, it's delicious. How he eats them as a robot with no mouth, I don't know. Just going through the mustache, I guess. Saya player, early kill on a Mangachu here. Logic's fighting it out on the high ground, and Saya player, haha! You dare hook Saya player? That's right. That is an insanely one-sided fight, and that payload is moving quick.
Defiant just getting manhandled in these last 3 maps by the Defiant, or by the Mayhem, rather.
Florida manhandled.
Yes, Florida manhandled.
That's right. Toronto Defiant on their last legs on point B here. They can get one more defense on this point. Shark, but half health, but now he's got no health. Blizzard coming in, again, just on the payload to keep the Toronto Defiant at bay. They can just put Gods right back off the point. That's point B taken. They couldn't even get to the payload. It was actually a really nice halt by Fate to pull Gods and the rest of the team back into that upper room away from the payload.
Yeah, synergy has really been building among these 6 Florida players that have comprised the starting roster in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. It's impressive stuff.
Now, I thought we'd see more swapping today, though. I thought we'd see more experimentation, considering that this match is, all things considered, relatively meaningless for both of these organizations. But instead, they both really want to win.
I mean, league-wise, it's totally meaningless, right? They're both eliminated, but
they can't even spoil each other.
Exactly, yeah. But they still have a lot to play for. As far as playing for your spot on the team, you know, you're playing for the fans. There's some intangibles there, you know? Stayed down early as Toronto Defiant finally started to get back in the defense a little bit. The transcendence used by Neko as the Maywall came through. A bit of die from Psy player on the point, but no kills out of that one.
There was an immortality field down there. Now the kill's going to come in as the Maywall assists the Florida Mayhem.
Yep, certainly does, and that's a 20-player kill streak for Saya player too. crazy.
I mean, there is a ton of time on this map left, too. Havana, with over 3 minutes left in completion, has got to be one of the fastest we've ever seen.
It could be one of the, if not the fastest. Let's see how fast they can actually close it out. Here's the Blizzard coming through. It's going to get dropped, but it's from Florida Mayhem. They got to deal with Mangachu as soon as he's out of that ice block. That's going to be about it. Can they get there? Echo dies, and a lot of time being taken off now by Toronto Defiant, perhaps spoiling the record right here, but no kills from Toronto yet. And it's the spin to, attempt to win from Shark. He's going to get halted into death, and now Gau's back again. That is going to be it. And despite the little stall at the end, that was still a blazingly fast attack round on Havana.
I mean, it's 36-6 for eliminations in favor of the Florida Mayhem.
Jeez, wow.
Ends up being our 4th fastest Havana time. Really good stuff from the Mayhem on these last 3 maps after taking it pretty hard in that control. Looked good for the Defiant, but they've just been slipping over time, it seems like.
Yeah, a little bit of a despondency setting in on the Toronto Defiant side, as you can see. Seems like.
I like how the flashing lights reflect on God's head.
It kind of makes it look like he's like a robot. There's like a thinking process going on the inside, Kind of like one of those hard drive lights.
It does look like that.
Load attack program.
Yeah, a tough match here for the Defiant. Came in strong, and they've just been tailing off ever since then. They've never won Havana. Of course, neither of the Mayhem, but certainly looking like Mayhem have a hefty advantage.
Certainly do. Like you mentioned, the 4th fastest attack we've seen on this map. And so the question is, will Florida be able to finish it off with a strong defense here? Or will Toronto Defiant keep their hopes alive and send us to our 3rd map 5 in a row? The way things have been going today, I wouldn't be terribly shocked about that, but I think this is going to be the hardest to accomplish map 5 yet we've seen today.
Make a little bit of an adjustment here. Logic's on the Sombra. They have to clear this quickly, and EMP might be the best way to deal with it. Oh, early ice block for BQB. They have to protect him as he retreats, so Risa's shield goes down.
Yep. Toronto slowly moving forward, engaging that payload. There's a nice halt. A lot of damage coming in from Logic's moment. Has to use that Wraith form early. Now Saya player using his. The Fortify ends on Fate. Aid with the killing blow there. And Florida Mayhem starting to be forced back already. Goodbye Saya player. And the defense cracking early for Florida. Toronto should get a bit of distance out of this.
Yeah, Logics did switch back over to the Reaper right as the fight began, and they will be rewarded for it. Logics dealing a huge amount of damage. And
I question the wisdom of all this, live fire near a gas station, but hey,
or a distillery.
It's just me, or a distillery. That's just me, I guess. Maybe other people.
Because remember,
concerned about safety, maybe.
In the distillery, the rum is at cask strength, which means it's more flammable. Ooh. You know what I mean?
You're right.
Dangerous.
Yeah, that's just how Don Robotico likes it. Distilled with an element of danger. Logics with the kill on the Saya player. Soundbearer coming in a little bit late for Florida this time, and Defiant pushing fast. Living up to their name and refusing to let this series go without a fight.
The secret to the flavor of Don Robotico is the live rounds within every barrel.
That's right. A hint of crispness and a large dose of danger. Don Robotico udon noodles. Yeah.
A quick take here on A for the Toronto Defiant, keeping themselves alive in this series. Florida Mayhem going to have to use that Wraith form early on Saya player to back off. And here we go, playing around the corner here. First corner inside the distillery phase.
Toronto barely slowed down so far, but now with a kill on the Shark, maybe that's time to change. We'll see. Mangachu drops the Blizzard down, and Florida Mayhem. Oh, Logic's got the Death Blossom, got 2. 3 if you can include the Supercharger, but I don't know if the Supercharger is a sentient thing.
Try and just get this Diva in there for a little bit more stalling time. One thing Toronto Defiant have been doing well all series is coordinating the Blizzard and Death Blossom combos.
True.
For big team wipes. Get some movement on the payload right now. Be another fight here for the Mayhem at the end of this point. Coalescence has been a big tool here for Hagapun throughout this series.
Mangachu firing the right clicks in there. They tried to wall him off, but he was able to squeeze through. And here we go. Wall now self-destructing off some of the Florida players. Nobody dying to that self-destruct, but Hagapun can't stand the fire from Shark. Here comes the Death Blossom from behind. Side player, he tried. You know, I'll give him an A+ for effort there, but F for execution.
I mean, once Hagapun was done with the Coalescence, they knew they just had to go give that a shot, but the Orisa barrier, the defense matrix, everything, the Coalescence, everything coming up against him.
Yeah.
And so now Toronto Defiant, look at this. They still have a couple of minutes now to match the time of the Florida Mayhem.
That would be pretty insane if they're able to do that. We had a near record time set by Florida on their attack, so if Defiant can equalize,
yeah, it's
could
looking
do
good.
Better. Be interesting. Saya player swapping over to the Widowmaker now. Oh, what are you doing? Logix. Just, you know, maybe trying to find an angle, but
he's trying to teleport. Look at this.
Yeah,
Gods has swapped to Reinhardt.
Oh,
now he's back over to the Roadhog. Okay.
Oh.
Here's what's going on right there. Does head back into spawn.
Would have been interesting. Thought maybe they're going to go for the higher gym for a second there, but not the case. There's a hook on the BQB though. The halt hook combo comes in again. Tank split off from the healing at the moment. Fade has to back off around the corner. Mangachu moving forward. He's got that blizzard as well. Oh, that's not going to be good for Chris.
Actually going to get Sherrick, but that's not going to be enough with the blizzard on the ground.
I don't think so, no. Saya player did get the kill on the Logix again though with that Widowmaker, but the Widowmaker's not going to be able to stop the payload.
Saya player still taking shots from the fort here.
I get a little bit concerned for Lucio when like the entire enemy team dies and he's like, yeah, that's my jam. Like, all right, death is your jam, Lucio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to say it.
Yes. Like, well, that's a little bit disturbing. But you do you. Be you. Well, that's coming in. They're pairing with a sound barrier, really going for it to try to finish off Florida Mayhem here. And they are setting up for what could be a crazy fast attack here. That said, BQB and Saya player coming in with a few kills. Saya player grabs 2, and Florida Mayhem at the last moment. Saya player going wild on the Widowmaker, and 4 kills to end that defensive fight. And finally, get Florida a little bit of breathing room at the very end.
Yeah, that's going to put an exclamation point onto that one. And Toronto Defiant switching to a double sniper look right now to match BQB and Saya player on the Hanzo and the Widow. Take another look at this one. Gonna see here, he's got the infra sight up, so knows where everybody is. Quick flick. And he's also going to take out Neck. Oh my, that's
beautiful.
Shuts down the desperation, Death Blossom.
It's a thing of beauty. So Florida Mayhem. Oh, that is a 1-1v1.
The thing about it is Saya actually doesn't have the most kills, but he has the best ratio of kills on Widowmaker to Widowmaker in the league. Came into this series, 10 kills on Widow, only 2 kills against him.
Oh, goodbye. Time to reset. And Toronto Defiant going back to spawn again to try to regroup. 2 minutes remaining though. Ooh, Mangachu hiding under the bridge like a troll. I'm not saying he's a troll. I'm just saying sometimes trolls hide under bridges.
Mangachu's kind of.
There's
kind of trollish
he
sometimes
keeps a list
in his
of people
Torbjorn plays.
Kills with Torbjorn Hammer. I'm not saying he's a troll, but he's troll-like qualities in a way. Just something to keep in mind.
Something to think about.
That's right. Food for thought. Toronto Defiant trying to finish off this round right now. They've lost a lot of time as Florida Mayhem with a strong defense, and here comes the Dragon Strike, and there goes an Echo. Shark down as well, took a lot of damage from that Hanzo ultimate. BQB finishing people off as the reset comes in again. And that is going to be a little something for Logix to remember.
A memento.
That's right.
A memento mori, as it were. All right.
Saya player sends his regards.
It's going to be an infrasight now. That last shot did get Saya player his ultimate. Now he's going to slow that approach even more. Toronto Defiant getting desperate here. Only a minute remaining. They're going to have a significantly smaller time bank at the very least.
Indeed. 50 seconds.
Infrasight used by Saya player.
Oh, and that is not good. Shark, at least they're going to know where his body is for a while anyway. Sniper v sniper. Logix looking for a kill on the Hanzo, but he can't find a Hagapun. Gets the pick on a Mangachu. Now Florida Mayhem. They let that payload move. They gave him a fighting chance, but they are not letting him get any further, it seems like. One more attack coming in from Toronto.
And remember, the Mayhem have held this point for nearly 5 minutes, 4 minutes and 50 seconds. And a lot of that's on the strength of the Mayhem's double sniper composition as the Defiant got close to capping.
Crazy. As Florida Mayhem tries to close out this defense, tries to win 2 in a row, and that is how you do it. Saya player, Harisa going for the high jump record, but he's not going to make it down as he gets self-destructed, and God's out of the mech as well. This one's done. Florida Mayhem, nobody even going to get to the point, and that is a 3-1 victory. 2 matches in a row for Florida here in Stage 4.
A rarity for Mayhem fans, but I think you're cautiously optimistic for this season. And Florida, we saw them beat London, but I think they're a legit threat to spoil some games for people at this point because they look clean.
That's the thing, is you really got to take Florida Mayhem seriously if you're going to play these guys. If you're a team fighting for that playoff spot or fighting for a spot in the play-ins at the end of Stage 4, and you're running into Florida, it's not going to be a gimmick. That is definitely a spoiler game you need to be worried about.
Yeah, absolutely. So it seems that every match we see Florida, they look just a little bit better.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? A tough one for Toronto, but again, for both of these teams, you know, it really is about 2020. It's about figuring out what's going to work going forward. And in a certain sense, you don't want to lose these matches, but in another sense, you know, the pressure is kind of off as far as now we can try things. Now we can kind of experiment and really kind of use these matches as kind of like really good practice situations to prepare for next season.
Yeah, I think it's hard too for the Defiant because even though they have been looking better, they released their head coach just yesterday?
Yeah, we didn't mention that.
So yeah, a couple days ago, and so there has been a little bit of a mix-up within the coaching staff of that team, and that late in the season, you know, might have an effect on them as they look and see what they're going to be doing in 2020.
Yeah, you'd imagine it would. So let's take a moment and look at the player of the match brought to you by Omen by HP. It is the one, the only, the flex support extraordinaire, Hagopun. He's got his glasses on. He can see you. That means he can headshot you.
He couldn't see you before, but now he can see you.
He can't headshot you with the Moira, but he can headshot you with other heroes.
I mean, honestly, the 2 pushes on Hanamura attack here were kind of back-to-back won by his coalescences.
Yeah.
And he was just playing great all day. Some really good transcendences, too, to keep them in the game. So Hagopun, a player who got a little bit of revenge against his former roster on London last week, continues his role here, and he's been basically the best overall player on the Mayhem this whole season.
I cannot disagree with you. And the thing with Moira, too, is that is a hero that can do a deceptively large amount of damage and can find picks. You know, people kind of make fun of it a little bit because it's easy to aim, right? You can just spray the healing across everybody. But if your positioning is good, you can actually do a lot of damage and cause a lot of mayhem, if you will, in the enemy team. So Hagopun putting the best face for Moira out there, I think, in the league, perhaps you could say at the moment.
Yeah,
and either way,
really good play tonight.
Yeah, certainly something that brought the Florida Mayhem to their win. So that's going to be match 3. No map 5, but don't worry. We've got another series coming up. Don't worry, guys. It's going to be the Guangzhou Charge taking on the Seoul Dynasty.
Really important match for playoffs.
Huge
really
match for these
important.
guys. Yeah, that's right. So do not go anywhere. I'm going to relearn how to speak English. In the meantime, stick around. More Overwatch League coming at you right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.